Do you wait for everything to be perfect and lined up straight before you make a choice? How hard are you trying to get everything in your life right? What if jumping in and getting messy is one of the ways to find out what works for you? Discover how being willing to mess up can create the phenomenal life you truly desire. Get ready to quit judging and start embracing all of your messy adventures. Now, here's your host, self-declared messy living expert, Petrina Fava.
Yay! Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. So excited to do this show today. Oh, my God. Oh, thank you so much. We already have a couple people in the chat room. Welcome to Messy Adventures in Living on this really awesome Monday. We are celebrating today. We're having a party on Messy Adventures. We are celebrating the birth of a brand new book called Creations. I am celebrating being a first-time published author, so I'm really, really excited. Today I have a guest on my show. Her name is Kim Cooper. She's one of the co-authors of this awesome book. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. It's a very exciting day. It's my first book as well. So
yay! Congratulations to you.
Hopefully the first of many for both of us.
Exactly. So I'm just going to introduce my guest, Kim. Kim Cooper, as well as being a contributing author to this awesome book, Creations. Kim is the mother of 3 wonderful boys, an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and a magic maker. She recently quit her job as an airline pilot to focus on facilitating anyone who's ready to step into big changes in their lives. Have you been hiding your gifts and talents from the world? Is now the time to reveal your magic. You can reach Kim at www.beingcooper.com, kim@beingcooper.com, or on YouTube at www.youtube.com. And we'll post a link for that YouTube channel.
It's just Being Kim Cooper on for the website and the Facebook. Being Kim Cooper. Mm-hmm.
So you can find Kim at Being Kim Cooper all over the place. So welcome to all of you in the chat room. Thanks for coming to play with us. I'm just going to introduce our book a little bit. So several months ago, we were invited to participate in creating a book that is a collaboration of stories. And the title of the book is called Creations. It's all about fertility, conception, pregnancy, birth, and a whole bunch of other cool things that are part of that topic. So what if you could change the things you thought were unchangeable? If fertility, conception, pregnancy, and birth didn't have to be a struggle, what else might be possible for creating our families and our futures? Creations, Conscious Fertility and Conception, Pregnancy, and Birth has been brought into the world through a labor of love. Her creators are a collaboration of women sharing their personal stories, their insights, and their knowing that something different is available for women and for couples bringing small beings into the world. They had a vision of a new possibility for the way we view our fertility, the process of conception, the gestation of pregnancy, and the labor of the birthing process. Each story told, while completely different from the next, captures the myriad of ups and downs involved in the creation of a new life, from the trials, tribulations, and vulnerability of some women's struggle with infertility to the exaltation, exhilaration, and triumph of twin babies birthed with laughter. Some of the concepts these authors introduce may stretch the boundaries of your comfort zone. Some may seem downright implausible, but some, no matter how different they may be from your current worldview, will awaken a knowing deep inside you that holds the potency and possibility for you to create your experience of fertility, conception, pregnancy, and birth completely different from what you may have thought possible before. The hope for Creations is that it may expand your life and the menu of possibilities available to you and your magnificent creations. Oh, I just love that.
It made me cry while you were reading it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. So after that introduction, we are going to take a very early break. We're going to take an early break and come back and talk to Kim about her chapter. So we're going to go to break. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living on A to Z FM. We are celebrating the birth of our new book creations today. This is Petrina Fava and my guest Kim Cooper. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on a2zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more Messy Adventures.
Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living on a2zen.fm with myself, Petrina Fava, and my guest, Kim Cooper. So before the break, we introduced our brand new book, Creations, that's launching today on Amazon.com. It's a collaboration of stories from a bunch of really awesome women, telling all about their adventures in fertility, conception, pregnancy, and birth. So, Kim.
Yes.
Kim, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to talk a little bit about what your chapter is about and what it was like for you to write your first book?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was thinking, would it be okay if I read a couple paragraphs of it?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Okay, because that gives a good background, and then I can talk about it from there. So yeah. I'll just read the start of my chapter. So many couples attempt to save their marriage by having a baby. After the rockiest year of our 16-year marriage, my husband and I had a different plan. Sell our house, take a year off, and travel around the world with our 8-year-old son. My husband quit his job, and I reduced my hours as an airline pilot so we could travel. Our house sold within 2 weeks of putting it on the market. We planned an estate sale to sell most of our belongings. When my period was late, I attributed it to the fact that we were under so much stress. This was the biggest decision we'd ever made, and everyone thought we were crazy. The day before the estate sale, I took a pregnancy test on a whim, looking for some peace of mind, but not really expecting anything out of the ordinary. Finding out I was pregnant after deciding to downsize our life was a shock. Finding out I was pregnant with twins with nowhere to live or an income to support them felt like I was the star of my own personal Lifetime movie. Things rarely show up the way you think they will, and it was quite a while before I realized that this might be the change in my life and relationship I had been asking for. So then I go on to tell about some of the tools that I use to create more ease with this pregnancy. As I mentioned, I have an 8-year-old son, and this pregnancy, even though it was with twins, I was much older, it was considered high risk. I had so many more tools available to me, and it just really helped me create more ease and more joy with this, kind of unexpected pregnancy. And it really makes me realize, like, wow, nothing went the direction I had planned it to go, but things turned out so much better because of it. And I had always wanted to write a book. I've been wanting to write for a long time now, and look, these 2 little magical beings gave me the opportunity to do it when I had never sat down to make the time to do it before. So it's just amazing how things turn out when you don't come to conclusion or don't go straight to, like, oh, this sucks, what's wrong, why didn't this turn out the way I wanted it to, which I spent a good bit of time doing. I'm not going to lie, the first few months.
Yeah, of course.
But then I picked myself up and, realized that, okay, that's a choice I can make. And there's also another choice available, which is like, wow, what can I create with this? And I think pregnancy and birth and like fertility, that seems to be such a big area where people get totally locked up into one way of thinking, one conclusion, one outcome, and I think that the beauty of this book is the chapters talk about many different aspects of that and how there's so many possibilities available.
Oh, totally. I love that you I love that you talk about not only being pregnant unexpectedly when you were trying to downsize your life, but talk about upsizing, because then you were pregnant with twins, for God's sake. What the heck?
No kidding. And
God.
I realize now, so I had been wanting to quit my job as an airline pilot for a while and do the facilitating full time. And it was one of those things that I just couldn't get myself to do it. And I realized it had it been
so
one
you had
baby. Well, absolutely. Like how creative am I? And I realized that if one baby, I probably would have still tried to go back.
Right.
But with 2, that made
God,
it
that's
really
so funny. That's hilarious. And I love that it never shows up the way you think it's going to. Like, I don't know, but could you have ever in your wildest dreams imagined that you would have been pregnant with twins when you were at a time where you were trying to downsize and
Absolutely. And it's funny because when I had my son, I really wanted another baby. Like I always thought I would have 2 kids, but with my travel schedule and everything, we realized it was just best to stick with one because that was manageable for my husband while I was gone, and he was home for 3 days at a time by himself. And, so it's like, again, it's one of those things where you finally, like I had let go of having more kids. I was ready to just move into another stage of my life. And then it happens. And I wonder how often, especially with women trying to get pregnant and trying to conceive, that is their main focus and their main goal. And I think I just read this in your chapter last night. Once you're able to kind of be willing to accept any outcome instead of the outcome that you are desperate to have happen, then sometimes it opens up so many different possibilities. And I love what you wrote about that in your chapter.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will read a blurb about my chapter. I'd like to take a caller if that's possible. So Erica Glessing is our publisher for this wonderful book. If she's on the line, I'd love to have her call in. Okay, maybe Erica, are you unmuted?
I think so. Hi everyone.
Hi Erica.
So Susan Shatner, who's one of the authors in the book, has just posted in the chat room that our book is number 38. already.
Yeah,
Yay!
it was like 3:90 this morning when I woke up and
Yeah.
signed up.
That is
wow,
craziness.
it's really being born.
Oh my God, it's so exciting.
Yay.
Oh, that's awesome. So Erica, thanks for calling in. I'm so excited to talk to you. Thank you for everything you've contributed to bringing this book to life. Do you want to talk a little bit about what this has been like for you? You can introduce yourself a little bit. You've published many and written many, many books. Do you want to talk about how this has been different for you, or?
Well, book and a baby aren't that different, but I want to say when I had my children, it was before I had a lot of tools, and I really was like 38 when I just went, my biological clock was like, okay, I'm going to have babies. And, I'd wanted babies since I was 20. I used to teach preschool, so it wasn't like new. And then I chose a guy who couldn't conceive babies. That was fun. That was really interesting. So the infertility stuff, kind of then got buried after I had 3 children, and that's in my book, my chapter. But when Sadie approached me about this book, it was like, wow, I wish, there's so much information now about being and having babies that if I had known then, oh my gosh, my life would be pretty different now. So I was just kind of, Sadie approached me about doing the book, and it felt super light. It felt like what the world was asking for. And then it was interesting when I read the chapters, because being the publisher, I get to read everything early. And when I read Glenna Rice's chapter, I'm just going to tell you a funny thing. I'm just going to, kind of get a little serious about all this baby stuff, but she's like, she had a very gorgeous man taking one of her classes. This is in her chapter. And she goes, what if you chose your parents because they were good looking?
Yeah, that's it. Really
good. I was like, we get so heavy into everything with our parents, and what their role is in our life. And what if we just chose them because they were cute or they had a good body, or if
you're just hanging around out there, your little spirit, and you're like, damn, those two are cute. Now let's slam those ones together.
It's what if it were more fun than we thought? So I really felt like this book had a lot of light to it. It had a lot of life force. One of the things I look for in a book, if I'm going to choose it for happy publishing, would be how much life force does it have? How much desire does it have to be in the world? And this book actually, it actually had a little bit of a few bumps in the beginning. So that's really interesting. And then it got stronger and stronger. And then there's a new book coming next on parenting, which then kind of uplifted this book. It was very interesting in the life force of it. And so now this book is being born, and it has so much beauty and grace. And everyone's stories, Kim's story of getting pregnant with twins after she's just given up everything.
Yeah.
And then Petrina, your story where you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing self-help. I'm not supposed to miscarry. That is so true. Wait a minute, I've done everything right. How can my body be doing this to me? Or, the book really helps people with those kinds of things. So I just want to thank you for giving the book this radio moment, and I want to thank all the authors for choosing to write their stories. Not always the easiest stories to write about, and I'm just feeling like, I guess I'm feeling like there's a lot of courage in the book. So thank you all for that.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been awesome. And your chat. I'm so jealous that you got to read all the chapters. Kim, do you have the book already?
No, I was just going by I ordered some this morning. I was going by what they had sent out earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I got to read your chapter. I haven't read anybody's but yours and mine.
Oh, cool.
I was waiting till I had it to hold in my hands, and I'm one of those, I'm not into the Kindle or anything like that. I like to have an actual book in my hand, so I was waiting to read the whole thing till I actually had the book in my hand.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to get a copy of the book. Obviously, so I can hold it, but also so I can read everybody else's stories, because I've just been hearing about all the authors' stories and all their contributions, and I'm just like jumping out of my seat to read it and to really get the enormous beauty that it is. And yeah, I can't. Yes, and Christine in the chat room, we need books so we can do a book signing. I can't wait to do a book signing.
How come? I'll drive to Toronto for that.
Yes, I would love to. That would be amazing.
Petrina, am I still on?
Yeah, you are.
Well, I guess if someone's tuning in right now and they're just listening to this, one of the things that I saw like as an overarching message that I just love, and Susan Schatzer, as you said, is on the line, and it was really about listening to yourself. It was really about asking your own body questions. And the last story in the whole book, the Samantha story, just was insane, where her baby was sick in the hospital and they had to follow their own knowing. And this whole time, I'll just tell you, really funny, I don't know if this made it into the book or not, but when I actually got pregnant with my third child after adopting two, we'd had some issues with the second adoption. I was like, I am going to be pregnant. I don't know what the hell.
Can you imagine?
I basically demanded it, which I don't recommend, but I did demand it. And so then I went to the fertility specialist, which I'd sort of ignored it. And I went in, but I had already done a bunch of stuff to me because I had all the drugs still in my drawers, in my closet. So I had poked myself and put lots of drugs in me, so I had lots of eggs. And I actually went back, and then I did, I think, acupuncture. So I go in, and the doctor's sitting there telling me how at age 42, there's no way I can get pregnant. And I was already pregnant.
That's so funny. What did you know?
He's going at your age, with your weird hormones.
Right.
With you, this. And what I did is I just basically, took what I needed from each of them, but I did take drugs. But it was funny. It was like I just went into my own knowing. I just talked to my own body, and I listened to what they said, but I kind of looked at them, and I was kind of laughing in my head because it was my birthday, and I was like, well, you might be saying that, but you might be surprised.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
That didn't actually make it into the book, but they were telling me absolutely, I should just give up,
Right. Yeah.
If anyone follows me on Facebook, Madeline is not giving. She didn't want to give up.
Those babies wanted in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. So that's actually, I think, thank you for that little bit of a lead in. I think maybe I'll just I'll read a little bit about my chapter before we take another break, and then we will chat with Susan. Okay, so basically my chapter is about I had just learned Reiki. I had just really become interested in energy work, and I learned Reiki on the weekend. It was my first real exposure to energy work, and after that I took a one-day class about manifesting. I had been reading the Secret and learning about the law of attraction and reading some Abraham Hicks and really was excited about a lot of it because I knew, I've always known that something else is possible with bodies besides what, I knew kind of in a medical sense that I've been a registered nurse for 18 years. And so I took this, I was taking this manifesting class, and I had my two daughters by then, and I really wanted to have a third baby, and I was pregnant. And literally right before my manifesting, or right after it was over, or right before it was supposed to start, I started having some bleeding and had an ultrasound that showed that the baby didn't have a heartbeat. I was 9 weeks pregnant. And so I went into this huge tailspin because I'd never had trouble getting pregnant and never had trouble with my pregnancies. They were awesome. They were beautiful. They were easy. And my daughters were healthy, and I thought I really had this cool thing going on with my body, you know. And so then I had this miscarriage, and I go on to describe how much I felt really betrayed by my body. So I'll just start reading at a point where I had been in the hospital. I went to the hospital because I was bleeding heavily, and then I was not able to expel all of the fragments of the embryo, and so I was emerged for like 2 days trying different things, and I was really upset. So since this manifesting stuff is not working and my stupid body is not cooperating, I grudgingly agree to a DNC. Whatever. I'm pissed off and defeated. I don't understand why my body is screwing up so badly. Just do the stupid DNC. And if that means my uterus isn't good to hold a baby anymore, fine. I don't want to do this again anyways. I obviously asked for too much instead of being grateful for what I had. And look what I got. I have the DNC. I see my gynecologist for the first time since the miscarriage the morning before I leave. Hey, troublemaker, she says jokingly with a smile. Yeah, no kidding. We go home, and my body finally stops bleeding. The shock of what happened quickly wore off, and after a while we were ready to try to conceive again. In the meantime, my brother Joey moved to Korea. He shares my interest in energy work. More than that, he and I share a certain kind of knowing, that there's more to this reality than what we see, and that our bodies are capable of so much more than what's documented in the scientific studies. We chatted over Skype now and then, and every month I would express my disappointment that I was not pregnant, yet again. It had been 7 months since the miscarriage, and it had never taken this long for me to conceive. The anger and sense of betrayal towards my body was increasing each time I got my period. My period became like a stab in the back, a slap in the face from my body. I became more and more fearful of all the possible damage to my uterus the miscarriage and the DNC had caused. All the facts I'd ever learned about bodies while obtaining my nursing degree were spinning in my head. I pored over my textbooks, Googled everything related to infertility, and became more and more loaded down with possible ways my body was now broken and incapable of sustaining another pregnancy. Oh my God, the tears. This time, Joey was telling me excitedly about something new he had discovered. It was called access consciousness. It was a modality about asking questions, he said, instead of looking for answers. I didn't really get that. Why else would you ask a question? Hello, I'm a nurse. I've spent years studying the scientific process. We ask questions and look for answers. We employ reason, steps, logic. We look for concrete evidence. I liked figuring things out. This stuff was weird. What if the purpose of a question was to receive awareness, he asked. Awareness. Yeah, I guess I kind of get how that's different from an answer. He sent me an email with some really interesting concepts from Access. Most of it was going totally over my head, and I found myself reading it at least 10 times in an attempt to understand it. It was fascinating to me, so different and totally weird. Don't try to understand it, he told me. Just use your awareness. Ask some questions. What questions can you ask about getting pregnant? He challenged me. Let's see. Why aren't I getting pregnant? What's wrong with my body? Am I ever going to have another baby? Try something different. Ask a question that's not about a why. Try these ones. How does it get any better than this? And what else is possible? How does it get any better? I'd be pregnant. That's how. What else is possible? Pregnancy. That's what. I'm not so sure about this asking a question without waiting for an answer stuff. Although it did remind me of the whole asking for something and then letting go of the result idea we had discussed in our Reiki training. I just really didn't know how to do it. My brain was always going to what I thought were possible answers. And then, 2 days later, he asked me 2 questions that completely changed everything for me forever. Does your body want to have another baby? What? What kind of stupid question was that? What does my body have to do with this? I want to have another baby. Doesn't he remember anything we learned about manifestation? If you want it, you need to put it out there. I want another baby, period. Hey, ask your body, he says. There was that tingly feeling again.
I knew my body had awareness, but I was afraid to ask my body. What if my body said no? I really wanted another baby. I squirmed, asked the question, and then didn't hear my body say anything. I don't get it. I'm asking and I don't hear anything. Then I repeat, probably for the millionth time, I feel completely betrayed by my body. I don't want to ask my body. I'm pissed off at it. Sorry. And then the gentle yet potent question. Petrina, can you and your body create anything together while you're in that space of betrayal and anger? My eyes closed. My body sighed heavily. I was tingling and warm, goosebumps on my skin, tears streaming down my face. Oh my God, I am so sorry, body. Okay, I say, tell me more. What questions can I ask to change this? Holy, I was not expecting that much emotion. Oh my gosh. I probably read that so many times, and reading it out loud is like, wow. So yeah, that's just a part of my chapter where I think that I started to really turn things around from hating my body and being really mad and pissed off at it to starting to really ask it some questions and communicating with it in a different way. So maybe let's go to break, and then on that note, let's go to break, and when we come back, we will talk more about the book and chat with Susan, I think.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on A2Zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more messy adventures.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living on A2Zen.fm with myself, Petrina Fava, and my guest, Kim Cooper. So I just finished reading an excerpt from the chapter that I wrote, and yeah, it just kind of was it was getting a little bit teary even just reading it. I just want to say,
I just want to say that the level of vulnerability that writing this chapter brought out in me was just like nothing I could have ever imagined, and the healing and the I don't even have words. Like writing this chapter, putting everything that I experienced out onto paper was just I don't have words. Like it was just beyond healing and beyond cathartic, and I'm so excited that I have, because I had the energy of it and all the awarenesses that I received, but to have it out on paper and to have it in a book and out into the world to share with everyone, and also to know that someday my own son, my own son will read it is just like, it's just beyond anything. So thank you to Sadie and to Erica and to all the other authors who have also contributed, because this has just been beyond anything I ever would have imagined.
Well, thank you for being willing to go there too, Petrina, because it's like to have that kind of level of vulnerability and put your story out there when it's so personal, in the hopes that it touches someone else, and not even just in the hopes that it touches someone else. Like if that happens, that's fantastic. But I know for me and several of the other authors I talked to, this book has been a huge facilitator for us in so many other areas of our lives. Like it doesn't just have to relate to pregnancy and birth. These tools can be used for any area of anyone's life and can really help you create more ease in your whole life. And I am just like, I'm blown away. I'm sitting here this whole call with like tears in my eyes, thinking of what this book has created for me and the possibilities that it can bring to everyone, not just pregnant women.
Right. And like, did you know, I mean, I noticed that as I was writing too, I was getting new awarenesses still about something that happened like 5 years ago, as I was writing. As I was writing, I was like, oh shit, there, like, oh God, that. And some of the stuff I actually wrote about were awarenesses I was getting while I was writing. Like, did you find that too, Kim?
Yeah. I mean, it's just hard to put into words how this book, facilitated me. And I'm sure that as I read other people's chapters, that the same thing will happen. And the beauty of the tools of access consciousness, unlike a lot of other modalities, you don't have to figure things out. You don't have to try and go into the like, why did I do that and why did this happen? And if I could just figure it out, I could make it not happen again. But it also, like, as the awarenesses come up, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Now, next time I'll make a different choice when something like that happens. So it's beautiful that you don't have to go, like, searching for the reasons, but then sometimes 5 years later, you're like, oh, wow, that was a really interesting decision I made or thought I had or point of view,
Yes. Yeah, and still, many years later, like, those things continue to contribute to us and give us new awarenesses. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Susan, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Petrina and Kim, for inviting us.
Thanks for coming.
You're so welcome.
So, tell us a little bit about what it was like for you to write your chapter and a little bit about what it's about.
Sure. So, Sadie and I spoke like way back when the book was first starting to get its energy pulled together. And I had been in energy of, babies looking for a different possibility and moms also looking for a different possibility in being born. It was a woman who was in a class and I was running a body process on her, and her baby started to talk to me. And, never having that experience that I was aware of until that point, I was looking over my shoulder like, okay, who said that? Who's talking to me? And it happened to be the baby, and we had a very adult conversation, which was just over the top surprising for me, where this baby's like, look, now's the time. The planet and the people have been doing birthing this way for so long. We're consciously evolving. As our kids come in, they're more and more evolved than we were, more and more aware when I say evolved. And they're at the point where they're like, hey, we actually, would like to not do this. We'd actually like to do something different.
Right.
And so that's when, all the energy for it got started. And Sadie and I were chatting about it. And she says, yeah, so what if, a book is something that would create some facilitation around the planet? I'm like, let's rock it.
Yeah.
And so we just jumped in, and all the authors came together. And for me, writing the book was sort of writing the chapter in the book. It's called From Creation to Cradle, is actually the name of the company that I'm working with. Was inspirational, yet it was also a sense of, okay, I am really stepping out to a place where people can look at me and go, okay, you're weird.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're like woo-woo and, really. And so I went there, and it's been incredibly freeing in a sense, because I'm like, okay, I don't need to try to come up with the words to describe it or, justify it or,
right.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this happened and this is what it is. And this is what showed up. So I'm just incredibly grateful for being included in the book, being asked to be a part of it, and for sharing some of the amazing things that have shown up, and, the possibility for pregnancy on the planet to really and truly shift and change.
Yeah, wow, great. Thank you so much for that. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that you were that you had connected with Sadie right from the beginning. That's really cool that you've been part of this right from the get-go. That's awesome. Yeah, I think
it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's actually, the babies that are asking for it. Because, in talking with them, the baby was like, look, we're manipulating our parents the best we can. We're, talking with them, and, they're not really tuning in, and they're treating us like a separate, being, and an infant and a baby, and really, okay, we're as infinite as you are.
Right.
And even though we're in a little body doesn't mean we don't know. And having drugs and episiotomy and being pulled out, or a cesarean, is not how we would like to come into the world. It may be for some, but not. And the baby went on to tell me, exactly, how the world right now, reads to the baby when they're in utero, and moms and dads do that. And we talk to them, and we even put music. There's headsets now that go on your abdomen. And you can play Mozart and music, and right? Well, but the baby's like, but you're not talking with us. You're talking to us, and you're not listening. So that's sort of what came up, and that's what is shaking and baking with sort of shifting people's points of view on the planet. So while there is a different possibility available, there's a lot of different possibilities available, and let's get in tune and start talking to the babies. Because they do have a point of view also.
Of course, yeah. I think I had one of the things that was so beautiful about all of this for me, like the whole miscarriage and then conceiving my son, was that I may not have known it cognitively at the time, but of course, because it's not cognitive, but I had such an awareness of him, and I was calling it I wanted a little baby, and I wanted a boy, because I had two girls, and I love my girls, and I so much wanted to have a boy. And now, and I see that what I was actually perceiving was him. I was so aware of him and his energy, and I knew that he was there, and I knew he was coming, and I didn't have any cognitive thing to explain it then, because it's not cognitive. and now I know how much I was so aware of the energy of my son, and and his desire to come and co-create with me as well. It's really, really cool. Really cool. So Thanks, Susan. We're just going to take another break. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living on A2Zen.fm with myself, Petrina Fava, my guest, Kim Cooper, and some of the other co-authors of our awesome book, Susan Shatner and Erica Gilsing, and perhaps some more in the last few minutes. When we come back, we will keep chatting about our book creation. Stay tuned.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on A2Zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more messy adventures.
Welcome back. You're listening to us on Messy Adventures in Living on A2Zen.fm. I'm here with my guest, Kim Cooper, celebrating the birth of our brand new book, the launch of our new book, Creations, today. And we've heard from a couple of different authors, and we have one more on the line. It is Samantha Dietz Holloway. Hi, Samantha.
Hi, Petrina. Hi, everyone.
Hey. Hi. Did I hear you correctly?
I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome.
Thanks for calling in. So do you want to talk a little bit about your chapter? Do you want to talk about what it was like for you to write? I've heard a ton about your chapter and the crazy story, so please share it because it's so awesome.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. My chapter is really focuses on my whole life I wanted a baby, and really what I wanted was a family, and I had to change that point of view to actually conceive and actually have my baby. I had 6 miscarriages, and the last baby chose out at 6 months in the womb, and after that I just wanted to die. I didn't want to be here. And my chapter is about, at 43, I was able to have a healthy baby girl, and she's absolutely beautiful. And then we went into the hospital 9 days after she was born, and they told us that she might not make it. She had a massive brain clot, and I had a lot of emotions, a lot of stuff came up, a lot of trauma and drama,
about not having a baby and her not wanting to choose to be in my life and my world. And we started using access consciousness tools and asking questions, and she decided to choose in. And I'm just so blessed to be part of this book. She is so healthy. She's healthy. They told her she'd never walk or possibly talk. And she is running around at 9 months old, and she's jabbering like crazy. She only says one real word, but it's Mama, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that she's here, and I'm grateful for Gary and Dane and other access facilitators that have helped me along my journey. And so my chapter is all about all of that.
That's so awesome. I cannot wait to read it. I can't wait to read it.
It's so exciting, and my wish for other women out there is not to give up and to, I mean, I was 43 and they kept telling me I was too old, and I'm not too old. I wasn't too old. I wasn't too old. And that other women will use some of the tools and be set free from things that happened in the past, and letting go of the miscarriages and other things. So I'm just so grateful to be here and to be alive today. So thank you so much for everything.
Oh, thank you so much, Samantha. Thanks for calling in. That was so great. I love that you shared that. And don't worry, I cried earlier too.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I was crying too, and I was like, oh my God. It gave me chills. Every time I read my chapter, I cry. It's like I can't get through it without crying.
What a gift.
It's amazing how it unfolds. Yeah,
it has been amazing. I just want to say too that the chapters are all so very different. Even though I have not actually read all of them, but I know that some of the chapters are about miscarriage and birth and miracles, and some of them are also about the choice not to have children and the choice to have abortions and things like that. So Kim, thank you so much for being on my show. We're already running out of time.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be. I cried through all of your stories as well. And it just, what invitation can this be to the world that there is a different possibility?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to cry again. I can't say anymore.
It's a party/cry fest. So if anyone who's listening would like a copy of the book, it's called Creations, Conscious Fertility and Pregnancy. Conscious Conception and Fertility, Pregnancy and Birth by editor Sadie Lake. We are having a Google Hangout today on Facebook. The link is in the chat room. And the bit.ly link to the book, you need to purchase it today on Amazon.com if you're in Canada to contribute to pushing this book up to bestseller. It's already at 38, you guys. 38. It's the launch day. Hello. It's craziness. It's just a matter of time. So who do you know that would love to receive this book? Anyone, not only someone who's trying to get pregnant or trying to have a baby. Who knows who this could contribute to in ways that we've never even imagined possible. You can find all of us on Facebook. Kim and I are both on Facebook. Kim's website is beingkimcooper.com. Is that right?
Yep, Being Kim Cooper.
Yep. Beingkimcooper.com. Mine is petrinafava.com. So, thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for playing and celebrating. We are so excited to have this book out into the world. It's been amazing for all of us. And again, thank you so much to Erica Glessing and Sadie Lake for getting all of this together. And I think I'm going to talk into the music. Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for partying. Yay, Creations is out in the world. How does it get better than that? I wonder what it will contribute, and I wonder how many awesome babies will be showing up. Take care. See you
Thanks
next
for
week.
playing with us on Messy Adventures in Living. Petrina Fava will return next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain, and 6 a.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We'd love to have you join us again. Until then, have fun creating your phenomenal life, mess and all.